we're going to have the best run electric utility owned by a municipality in the state of Florida, and it's not going to be a disincentive. So we're looking at that in a really holistic 5-year plan, and you're going to see more of that in the paper. Huge disincentive to investment. Second disincentive that we're really going after is the land development regulations. We were just talking, Richard and I, in the back about, for years, it's been kind of a wild, wild west. You don't know what you can do in the city, and you're subject to the whims of staff or the whims of political change. Markets hate uncertainty. It's just a fact. We're finally going to have a set of land development regulations, hopefully after 8 years of trying this summer. And of course they'll need to be tweaked and things will need to happen. But for the most part, we have a set of rules going forward that will encourage and allow consistency and reasonable development in the city, so that when you buy property and you go to do something with it, you've taken that uncertainty out of it. It's also intended and designed to keep our lake worthiness, I'll call it, character, okay? And everybody's got different ideas on what that is, but this is the best we can do. So we're gonna move forward with that. So reduce the rates, have consistent and good rules for development. The third thing is we don't have a culture, we're not known for being customer oriented. And everybody probably has a story, both good and bad, of dealing with the city of Lake Worth.
Amen to that.
Amen to that. I don't disagree with you at all. Matter of fact, some of the staff members who are in the problem areas don't disagree. We have not made it a priority. We have not devoted the training. We have not implemented the tools in a lot of cases. And there's always the bad apple we haven't gotten rid of. All that's on the table, and we're working through those processes so that as we go forward, we should have the best reputation in the whole county of being a place to go and deal. I had a great experience. I opened an electric account, and I walked away happy. There's no reason, except it hasn't been the priority it should be. We run the corporation. This is a corporation. This is all this is. I'm the president of the corporation, and the mayor and the commissioners are the board of directors, and all the citizens are the shareholders. And if you look at it that way, it behooves us to make sure that we're doing the best job possible for our shareholders. The last thing is a sense of stability. Huge disincentive in the city of Lake Worth. I'm not going there. They're crazy. I'm getting out of here because they're crazy. Both in the city government and in the politics at large. In the city government, we've done a lot to try to stabilize. I'm the 5th city manager in what, 6 years? Mm-hmm. I'm not the greatest, but I'm the latest. Yeah. You can't take a $156 million corporation and constantly tug on it and pull it apart like a political bone. You wouldn't do that with your own business. You shouldn't do it with your city. So we're creating that stability by providing good, sound leadership to the whole organization. We're being honest with employees. We're talking about, again, budget shortfalls, which means we've got to look at pension benefits. And you know what? We're being upfront. We're asking their opinions. We're making them stakeholders in the success of this city. But in turn, we're getting that buy-in and stability. There hasn't always been that ownership among the employees and among the policy boards. Out in the community, we're really trying to encourage everybody to say, you know what? We've got to stop fighting on the extremes. You know, I want to go back to being a third world country with chickens running through the street, or I want to tear down all the buildings and build Fort Lauderdale. I don't know any reasonable person on either one of those ends. But in the great center lies most of us, and what, joins us is much greater than what separates us. And getting the people to realize that in the way we debate, the way we discuss issues, and the way we approach things in a rational manner, calmly, is what leadership is all about. And I'm starting to see that movement in the community. It's really kind of a wonderful thing, and I want to encourage y'all, to promote that kind of behavior, so that we generate that kind of respect for ourselves, and people will notice that, and that'll help deal with the stability factor. So those 4 were simple, easy to understand, but profound disincentives that we're working on to try to deal with. That was our first year's set of goals. The next year, as I'm coming into and working with the policy board, we really want to work on code enforcement. Code enforcement, while I said we can't save the city through laws and enforcing codes, there's over 2,000 vacant properties in the city. There's over 2,100 abandoned and foreclosed properties. Half of our properties are rentals. Half of our tax base is rentals, actually more rentals. There's a tremendous transient and investment-oriented city here. We have got to figure out a way that if you own property in this city, you live in Wellington or Atlantis or anywhere else, you're going to manage your property to a minimal standard. You are not going to disrespect this city by allowing conditions to exist in your rental property, and you're going to take that cash out of the city and put it in your pocket and not reinvest it because it's Lake Worth. We're not going to tolerate that anymore. So we're going to get the word out. We're going to be readjusting code enforcement. We're going to be doing some changes to our policies for opening utility accounts. We're going to be attacking this from different angles. We've got code enforcement and the sheriff's office for the first time really working together closely for chronic nuisance properties. And we want to drive the crime and the bad elements out. And we want to recognize our DNA as that cool, funky city with these smaller homes and lots, and figure out a way to get those families to move in here and buy them for $150,000, $200,000. It's possible. Other communities are doing this, and they don't have the amenities that we have. We've got so much. We just haven't figured out how to put it together. So code enforcement is going to be a big focus on absentee landlords. The other thing is we had to be really honest about the conditions of the city. One of the fundamental basics that a city is responsible to do is to take care of its infrastructure. This city has not taken care of its infrastructure, and I can't tell you why. I think sometimes we've gotten distracted by shiny objects or something out there that, you know, seems to be, we're going to turn the economy around by building a kayak launch. That's a great idea and it's important, but it's not your lead effort. If you drive through this city, you'll see what I'm talking about. We did a study and committed to hiring a firm that drove every stitch of road in this city. I think it's 116 miles. And they had this van that, you know, radar and all kinds of things, and it photographed it, and it gave us a pavement condition index rating for that street. So 100 is a new road, perfect drainage, it's got everything done. 0 is a lot of the roads that don't exist in District 1, where you do have the chickens running around. And there's no drainage, it's all dirt and sand. 55 is where you have to tear up a road because the road base is damaged. Above 55, you can mill the surface and repair it. There's a lot of roads they've been paved over so many times, there's no gutters. There's sidewalks are broken, there's no sidewalks around schools. But we said, you know what? That's good to have that information to do a roadway and sidewalk program, but why don't we push the water program that we have, because the water lines need to be replaced, and why don't we push the drainage master plan that we have in there, anything dealing with other items, you know, could be electric, and do a master plan so we tear the right-of-way up one time. It's the most efficient use of money from the various pots of money that we have. So we came up with the roadway and utility master plan. You might have heard about it in the paper. $63 million total. Of that, about $29 million is associated with the streets and the sidewalks. It turned into a life safety issue. Did you know that many parts of the town, in these areas where there's no roads, don't even have fire hydrants? They don't have the water lines for pressure and volume to do a fire hydrant. If you want to add value to somebody's investment, and some of these people that live on these lots, this is the biggest investment of their lifetime, their home. You fix the infrastructure. That vacant lot next to them that's run down will never sell if it's on a dirt road with no fire hydrants. No investor is going to buy that. But they will if you build the infrastructure, if you clean up the streets and you do it right. So we're looking right now at pushing forward the whole concept of let's get back to the meat and potatoes of what the city should be doing. Let's build a strong foundation and set of core issues that as the economy improves, we start to come out healthy so that we don't get in this position again 20 years from now. We've made the investments where we should be, and we're saying, well, you know, we shouldn't be funding these programs and things at the expense of these core values. And that's what this commission is considering. So I'm really excited. These are huge issues for this city, and it's going to take a lot of pain and effort. It's kind of like taking medicine. You don't want to do it, but it's the only way you're going to get well. You've got to stop treating the symptoms of the problems and go back to the core. And so I don't have any, you know, quick fix promises in this city. And I didn't think you expect me to stand up and say everything's rosy and let's have a group hug and we'll go home. The fact is, we've got some successes out there. Don't be fooled by them. Understand